Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. On today's episode, we're discussing the new CrossFit Games payouts that will now include all 40 individual games athletes, as well as additional team and adaptive divisions. To discuss the topic, our games athletes, Pat Vellner and Fee Saghafi. Welcome, guys. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for
Thanks for having
having
us.
us.
Yeah, Fee, I'm going to start with you. So back in 2019, when you finished 24th overall, you paid to play, then you left the
hmm
games in probably some kind of a financial deficit. With these new payouts, that standing, it would have awarded you about $6,250. What is the impact of having this increase in payouts going all the way down the leaderboard?
Oh, it financial. When we're talking financial, it is one of the biggest helps. I mean, my rookie year to have gotten 24th, I what I needed to do to financially make it there, and I'm in state in the country, not even comparing to what others had to do. I had to do like t-shirt fundraisers, ask money from friends, family. I didn't have sponsors at the time. Was still a very new athlete, just trying to make it, just for the love of it, not because I was getting money out of it. But to have made it, I mean, a lot of money went into just making it there, not and just making it there, and also training for it all year, the investments that you make on the health side, seeing your chiropractor, seeing your physical therapist, your nutrition, your recovery days, like all of those are just thousands and thousands of dollars of investments. And to have not earned anything as an athlete was, it was very upsetting. I mean, I was very rewarded by, it just almost seemed like it was just an experience for me, and that's just about it. And so this is going to be huge to financially support so many athletes.
Patrick, you kind of are on the opposite end of the spectrum for this. Top 20s, the top 20 athletes, they didn't receive a pay increase in order to pay 20 through 40. Do you think that this was a fair decision made by CrossFit?
I think that this is what the athletes have been asking for. I think that
Mhm.
it's actually amazing to see that, in the last couple of years, we've formed an athlete association and we've been starting to kind of get in the ears of the CrossFit organization and ask for certain things that we feel are unfair, unequitable, or whatever it might be, and ways that we think that we could try to help promote the sport to grow in a fair way for everyone, to provide better opportunities and just a more sustainable atmosphere for everyone. Um, and so, truth be told, like I'm not hurting with what I've done in the last bunch of years. I've always been in that top 20. I've always been getting paid. I haven't had one of those years where I've gone to the games and I've come out in the red. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm very fortunate to be in that position because half of the field is not.
Mhm.
So up to now, that's a coin toss. It's one bad event, it's one injury, it's one anything can just knock you
Mhm.
right out. And suddenly, you've paid all of your accommodations, all of your travel, your registrations. Um, and it sucks. So I think we've seen more of a move start to happen with competitions like the Rogue Invitational that, pay stipends for their athletes to show up and compete. So there is some guaranteed income. So people are not showing up and leaving, having just paid a bunch of money to go there and get slapped around a little bit. So I think it's awesome, and I think that some of us that have been in that top division of athletes and have never had to live that experience, we're certainly very lucky to be there. And I don't know anyone in that group who's saying, "Oh, we don't think the other athletes should be getting paid." I think as a whole, we've kind of started to band together and communicate a lot more as athletes, and this is one of the things that we've talked about and decided to move forward and continue to professionalize the sport is a huge priority. So I think it is amazing to see CrossFit make steps to make that into a reality this year.
Sure. And that's kind of the conversation of topic that we keep talking about is how can we professionalize the sport? Fee, for you, when you look at these pay increases to 20 to 40, they're not necessarily a salary, but being paid at the CrossFit Games combined with maybe other competitions, getting sponsors, things like that. How does that allow you to focus on being a full-time athlete versus having to have a side job, coach, or even potentially a full-time job?
Yeah, it's huge, and honestly, it's something that I just have had the opportunity to do. Like ever since last spring, I was still working on the side, still coaching, but still saving money. Parents had to help me because I'm so fortunate to have a good group of people that have been able to help me, but financially, like, I couldn't afford it up until literally I signed with Reebok and some incredible sponsors. And even in off-season competitions where I've actually been able to earn in off-season, before even tapping into, semifinals or games. And just financially now, I'm able to invest in myself. able to focus on what I needed to do as an athlete. I'm able to travel to Naples. Like, I'm able to travel to my coach. I'm able to travel with my training partners. I have those opportunities to now be able to do now I could financially support that, where before it was a struggle, and you're so limited. When you can't financially support yourself as an athlete, you're limited into what you could do. Maybe you can only train a certain amount, and you have to go to the job. You have to go to work. You have to go back to school. And now this allows me to be a full-time athlete and completely invest also in myself, do what I need to do with my sponsors. They expect, certain performances out of myself, out of Pat, out of everyone that works for sponsors and brands. And it allows me to be my best athlete and not have to have it as a part-time job, and have something else on the side. So it really has been an incredible shift, and hope to see it continue to grow. I mean, this is just the start of it too.
Right. And it's so great after 16 years to finally see this happening and then paying all of at least the individual athletes. Pat, when we look at professionalizing the sport, how do you see this moving the needle when we want to continue to grow CrossFit?
I think you have to see growth as positive, right? Like, I think looking at what it means, even just financially for the ecosystem, that's an additional, they didn't reallocate funds to make this happen. It's an
Mhm.
additional, I think it was $189,000 added to the prize purse. So more money injected into that ecosystem, it does a lot of things to grow the space. You can start to attract more major sponsors, which we've seen happen in the last year or two, which means you've got more athletes or more companies who can sustain more athletes for sponsorship. Part of this as well lowers the barrier of entry a little bit because people are less financially excluded if there is some guarantee of income. So people who have larger travel costs have that subsidized a little bit. They're able to come and perform, which can help to globalize the sport. I think that just growth in any way at the moment you have to see as positive, and find ways to say, like, all right, so we've got more money in. What does that mean? Okay, maybe you get more partners, more eyes on, you get more media deals, and it sort of starts an upward spiral, right? I think that that's the hope, is that we can allocate these funds in a way that, yeah, makes people more excited to come join. It makes the prospect of being a games athlete seem like a more of a realistic thing, because there's some financial incentive as well. It's not like you have to give up everything and anything to go there and just not earn any money, right? People have a chance to live their dreams and have it be financially stable as an option. That's what our long-term vision is. And I think this is just, the first step down a long path to making it more and more professional and more reasonable for athletes that are putting the time in, like Fees talked about, like the amount of effort and energy and investment of all kinds, financial, like time-wise sacrifices to make that happen. So it's certainly nice to know that there's some compensation at the end of that road.
Yeah. Fee, what is your bottom line to these new payouts?
Oh, bottom line, I would say, I mean, it's a step in the right direction, and it is so important I think, for us as a sport to continue to grow and to take it seriously, to continue to pay athletes what they deserve. I mean, from first place to the 40th place finish, we are putting our lives, every moment, every day, and pouring it into the sport, and we should absolutely be able to, provide for ourselves financially and pursue what we love. And with the financial support of CrossFit, we're going to be able to do that.
Pat, what's your bottom line?
Well, I think kind of like what Fee said, I think it's amazing to see more support getting behind the athletes. And I think not just individuals, right? Seeing the payouts go into the team divisions, into the adaptive divisions. It just, it's really nice to see that there's more support going to athletes in all categories. And I think that it's really cool to see it be what feels like a direct result of kind of athletes speaking up for what they think that the ecosystem needs and what the athletes need. and see that those voices be heard and listened to, and getting us to these end places. So I think that's really exciting. I think it's exciting to see that communication between partners and the CrossFit Games is better than ever, and that athletes are being supported at a level that we've never seen before. So like V said, first step on a long path, hopefully, but I think it's the start of an upward spiral, I'd like to think.
Great to see the CrossFit Games and the athletes headed in a right direction. 2022, it's going to be a great year. Good luck to both of you. I know you're doing quarterfinals this weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.